Welcome back to Become a Calm Mama. I'm your host. I'm Darlene Childress. And on the podcast today, I have invited Kelsey Cook to talk to us about activities you can do with little kids, with 1 or 2 year olds, toddlers, preschoolers, early kindergarten, all the way up to like 7 and 8 year olds. And she's created a company called Learning with Kelsey, where she puts together boxes for different ages that have all these activities that we talk about in the box, like a one and done kit for each month that you can order. And what we talk about besides the boxes is just sort of how to get into the mentality of being playful, entertaining little kids, and doing it in a way that feels good to us and is super fast and easy for us so that you can get more time to yourself, more time to rest, and your kids will be learning and growing at the same time. I think you're going to love this episode, especially if you have kids under 7. This is for you. And the other thing I want to invite you to do is to go to Instagram at Learning with Kelsey and look her up and just start to scroll through all of the amazing free resources she has on her on the Instagram, because it is full of ideas that you can do simply and easily at any time with your kids. Buys you time while you're making dinner, while you're, taking care of a baby, getting up early, making lunches, any of those things, like any task that you need to do or you just want to rest. These activities will help your kids be occupied. So I am so excited to introduce you to Kelsey Cook. I'm Darlene. It's so nice to meet you.
I know. Nice to meet you too.
I'm so excited about this conversation, and we're just going to jump right in. I'll have done an
Okay.
intro. I invited you on here. Your team reached out, and I get a lot of reach outs. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. And then I went to your Instagram, and I was like obsessed. I watched
Oh
all
my gosh, you're so nice. I'm
It's
so glad.
so good and so many cool ideas of how to entertain kids, and
Hmm.
they're educational, but also really easy. And
Yes.
I just loved it. So that's why you're here, because
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad.
podcast is called Become a Calm Mama, because parents are always looking for ways to stay calm themselves, stay connected with their kids, make life easy, and having activities that are easy to access, really engaging for little kids is golden. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on here.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about like how you got started, and then we'll get into what you do and then kind of like what you sell, like the boxes. But then I really want to talk about just kind of your mentality of like, how do you come up with it so that you
Yes,
can
yes,
give
I would
everyone
love to.
ideas?
I'd love to. Okay, so I'm Kelsey. I am a mom of 4. My kids are 9, 6, 3, and then 1. And I started as a teacher. So I taught 3rd grade, then I taught kindergarten. And then when I had my first baby, I was like, okay, this is really hard to do both, like I was the kind of teacher that like brought everything home with me. I was always doing it. So I really, really wanted to focus on my son. So I was lucky enough to be able to stay home. And then that was my first day of school without teaching. And I was like, wait, I really miss this. It's like, it's so fun. It was like such a passion of mine. And so I opened a preschool out of my house because I thought, okay, that would be a great balance. I can still be home. I at that time I had 2 kids, and so I taught one of them preschool. One of them got to go be with my mom, and so it was like such a great balance. I had just 12 kids, but I didn't really have a curriculum that I loved that I could find. So I created my own. My entire preschool curriculum was my own, and then COVID happened, and so I had to close preschool. So I made packets for my preschoolers because I'm like, oh, they're so sad. They're missing out on my favorite part of the year, like butterflies and rainbow, all the end of the year stuff. So I would make packets with everything that they would do and put them out on my porch, and the moms would come get them. And they just started sharing them on Instagram. And so people were like, well, can I get one? Like my neighbors. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can make one. And then someone messaged me from a different state and said, could you send me one? And I was like, okay, maybe we're on to something here. So I made an Instagram and I started mailing them. And then from there, I kind of realized like, besides the COVID aspect of it, where we all have these kids at home, the years before kindergarten are so hard and so special. Like I love those years because you're just your kid's teacher. You're with them. But then also you feel this pressure of like, how can I get them ready? Because there's nobody else getting them ready. So I realized that activities were so hard to like scrounge up. You can go on Pinterest, you can do this, but like my background made it so much easier for me and it was still hard for me. So I'm like, if I can make a way for moms to be able to do this on their own without having to think about it, that's kind of how my boxes were born. So from there, I started, and now it's a real business. So
Oh my God. Congratulations. That's
thank
such a
you.
cool story.
Thank you.
Yeah. COVID made us all pivot, but then a lot of creative opportunities and creative like solutions.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I know your boxes are amazing. They have, all the like different ideas and some manipulatives and things like that in
Hmm.
the boxes.
Hmm.
And then you also have downloadables that
Yes.
if you just wanted to like get the ideas, you also have that on your website. I was like poking around. I was like, I
Yes.
should buy one. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh,
why?
good.
I like
You're
my
like,
kids are grown, but I guess I like the craftiness of them all. But actually, what I like about it the most is that they're not super crafty. Like, it's
hmm.
not just like we're gonna make a butterfly for no
Yes.
reason. I like your stuff because you set it up for the kid and then they can keep doing it themselves.
Hmm.
It's not super necessary that the parent be right there. And I think
Hmm.
that's extremely cool. Um, and also, like the educational piece, I like that. I was a teacher, but I do think we get too stressed about like preparing them.
Hmm.
I'm like, whatever, they'll figure it out a little bit with when it comes to academics. Like, it's if you're
They
engaged,
do.
you're reading to them,
Hmm.
you're like participating in their like talking and chatting and
Hmm.
going on nature walks. Like, if you're just enjoying your preschooler, they're going to be okay.
Yep.
But I think what I find is that parents feel like, okay, this is a good example. Your kid gets up really early and it's like they have a wake up clock or whatever. Like they did a
Yeah.
good job. They stayed in. You're a good mama. The green light went off and it's still 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And you want to like just go have a cup of coffee and
Uh-huh.
look at your phone and like put your bra on and
Hmm.
just wake up. And
Yes.
you have this kid who needs engagement. They've been sleeping. Their body's, wanting to move and they want to play and they want
Hmm.
to talk.
Hmm.
And I just tell us like one of your things because it's so cool what you have done to like help parents in that situation.
Yeah, because I have that. My kids have always been early wakers. Like I'm like, I don't think my boys have ever slept past 7 in their lives.
Oh,
So
just wait though. They're gonna get to that.
I
You're
know
gonna
it'll
be
be
like,
right when
oh,
we need them
wait,
to wake
I
up.
think my 11-year-old is dead on a Saturday, and then you're like, oh wait, we're here. Where are they
I
sleeping?
know. I'm like, will it ever come? So
It
I
will.
have activities that I love that are called morning starts, where I just set up something the night before for them to do an activity, and you can pull one from my box. I also have like a free download that has a bunch of different options on it, but it's like it takes me 10 minutes to set it up, and then they can just do it themselves because it's usually things that they have done before, like color matching or tracing a line or connecting dots. So it's something that they know how to do, but that they can engage in and do independently.
Yeah, morning starts. I looked to actually try to find downloadables. I wasn't sure you had any free downloadables.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I have that one. I can send it to you so you can share it with your
okay, good.
audience
Yeah,
too
we'll
if you
put it
want.
in the newsletter and then
Yeah,
like we'll put it on the show notes and stuff. That's great.
perfect.
Well, because so now I'm like one of the parents. I'm like, you said 10 minutes. I don't want to spend 10 minutes. So sell us on how, like, why it's worth it.
Yeah. So my boxes don't take 10 minutes to
Okay,
set
good. There we go.
up. So those take probably 2 to 3 minutes for you to set it up because everything is in there. That's kind of what I felt like was the most, like the biggest hurdle for parents is you see these ideas and you're like, oh, that's so fun. It's just pom-poms and crayons. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, now I have to order 1,000 pom-poms. That's the only pack on Amazon. I have to order, so it's all these like And now I have a huge jar of paint that I don't want. So mine comes exactly with what they need. So you have 20 pom-poms for your activity that needs the 20 pom-poms. And then
Mm.
you have a little bottle of paint. So you use it for your paint and then you're done. So you're not having to store a bunch of stuff. You're not having to hunt down a bunch of different things. It's all in there. You just like pull it out and do it.
It's amazing. Yeah. And even if someone finds that the box cost prohibitive, it
Mm-hmm.
is, I think even if I don't know, I'm just looking at, well, these are candy, Tic Tacs, but it is like it doesn't always have to be the pom pom. Like it can be
No.
something else. Like you had
Mm-hmm.
this cute thing where you just take some stickers that they're not even fancy stickers. They're just the kind you would get at Staples, like little
Yes.
green dots, and they were just putting them on, I don't know if it was for St. Patrick's Day or
Uh-huh.
what.
Yep, a
And
clover.
it's
You're right.
yeah, like little kids just picking up a little sticker and sticking it on something. And then
Uh-huh.
that's just, it's gross motor, it's fine motor, it's like matching. I mean, there's so many cool things happening in the brain, but also you're sitting there having your coffee and they're just picking the thing up and putting it over there. And that is
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and you're not feeling, because as moms, we feel guilt about everything. And so it's like you can do it and feel like, okay, while they're doing something, they're learning something and they're entertained. You're not
Yeah.
I'm not anti-screens. I mean, my kids, I use those as a tool often in my home, but like I would rather not use a screen. So
Mhm.
when I can do something like that, it makes my day so much better. It makes their day so much better because I used to be like, okay, they're up at 5:30 a.m., they're turning on a show, but then you realize by 7:30 they're just like spent. They're
Well,
so
I found my boys would
overstimulated.
get really more wild because they're
Mm-hmm.
not engaged in their brain and they're not engaged in their body. And then the morning would just be kind of a disaster. Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get them off the television or to transition to socks and shoes to go to preschool or to start breakfast or whatever it was. And it just wasn't worth the time I got was never as worth it for the time I had it cost me in
Oh, for
terms of
sure.
energy. Yeah, so I do like it's not like it's the opportunity cost, right? Like when my
Yeah.
kid is doing on screen, I then know I'm going to maybe pay for some of that
Yes. Yes, for
dysregulation
sure.
afterwards.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I was thinking about I guess I'm just like in my head all the obstacles that parents would come up with.
Yeah.
Um I'm just thinking about my boys, like preschool boys. And early kindergarten and stuff. And one of them, he was an early riser and he would like kind of do that. He could occupy himself. But then the
Mm-hmm.
other one was like a freaking Tasmanian devil. And he just woke up like, you know, really needing to move. And I have someone on the podcast the previous week from you talking about like sensory activities and really getting
Uh-huh.
in the body. And I think if you have them do a body thing and then they sit down and do the activity, that might be helpful. But I'm wondering, what do you recommend if someone is like, my kid won't sit and like play with stickers or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, so I try to always incorporate, like in my box, I incorporate like at least 2 to 3 gross motor like type activities that can be repeated throughout the month. So one of my favorite ones, like in my April box, they have like brain breaks that are like little activities like roll like an Easter egg, hop like a bunny, and those are in eggs. So I reuse those all the time. Like with my preschoolers, when I taught preschool, it was like, okay, we do an activity and then we get up and we move around. So it's always every activity is probably 5 to 10 minutes,
Mhm,
like, and
mhm,
that
mhm.
that really is their attention span. Some people are like, well, my kid was done with this in 10 minutes. So now what do I do? And it's like, well, that's pretty good, honestly, for a 3-year old. I'm always
Yeah,
like,
to
that's
stay
actually
doing the
great.
same thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So it's like you just kind of have to figure out what works best for your family and then what you can do to get them moving before you do that. Like this is silly, but like my boys, I would tape their sticker sheets up on the wall and they would have to get the sticker and then hop over and stick it on. So it took them a lot longer, but like they were up and moving where my daughter will just sit and like carefully put every sticker on and it just
Yeah.
kind of depends.
Right. Then that is the different there is a different energy in little boy bodies, little girl bodies.
Hmm.
Not always exactly the same.
Yeah.
Some boys are really mellow and chill, and then some girls are
Yeah.
like really busy and moving all the time. But in general, it can be challenging to get little boys to kind of do stuff. But that's such a great idea. I love these brain breaks because, yeah, this is how I think about it. If I give a little kid an activity, they want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, they want to play, they want to
Hmm.
move, they want to please you, they want to like do the thing.
Hmm.
Especially if you're like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna open an egg and then let's just roll like an Easter egg and like see how many Easter egg rolls you can do or whatever.
Yeah.
Bunny, I don't know
Yep.
what the hell.
Hmm.
And then they do it and then they're like giggling and you're giggling. And I mean, one of my favorite tricks has nothing to do with your boxes, but I would play hide and seek with my kids and I would be the one that was hiding and then they would have to count. This is like more like 7, 8. They'd have to
Uh-huh.
count to 100. And I
That's so
would get
good.
100. I would just go immediately to the easiest place to find me, but I would have 100 seconds to sit
Genius.
and not move. And then
Yes.
they would be like, I found you. And I'm like, awesome. You do it
Yeah.
again.
Do it again.
Any activity that you can sit on a couch while
Hmm.
they do the thing.
Oh, the best.
Yeah. So it's like, maybe it takes a little bit of effort to pull out something from the box or an
Hmm.
idea, but getting some things in your head that you're like, oh no, okay, now jump. I mean, freeze tag or freeze dance is so great.
Oh, so great.
Like, and like statue,
Yep.
okay, do a statue, and then you have to guess what they're acting like.
Yeah.
And then, they're like, I'm a bear, and you just keep saying stuff, and they're just stop.
Yeah.
They're not moving. You're not moving.
It's the best. And that's why, like the Easter egg one, I love because I will take 2 minutes and go hide them all over my house. And then I will sit on the couch and she will find them, bring them to me, and then I have to open it. So,
It's so nice. I know. It's
yeah.
like, so these strategies, like, yes, they're educational, but really they're coping for us to like just get tiny. When you
Hmm.
have little kids, I always say from 0 to 6, parenting is all about the body. And
Hmm.
then 6 to 12, it's all about the mind. And then
Hmm.
12 to 18, it's all about the heart. So your body's the most tired when you have
Yes.
0 to 6. And so anytime you can get to sit down and they're busy, it's a
Yeah.
huge break.
Hmm.
And even if it's 5 minutes, 7 minutes, like it's
Yeah,
so
it's a
great.
huge, it makes a huge difference. And
Yeah.
I feel like it gives them like you're doing this one-on-one time with them, you're paying attention to them, you're talking to them about this activity, and that in turn is going to make them better behavior. It's going to make them more likely to do what you want them to do just because they're feeling that connection and they're feeling that one-on-one time.
Yeah, connection breeds compliance for
Hmm.
sure. Yeah. And that way they're feeling a little bit more yeah, we want to do what we're asked when we're feeling really loved and seen and supported.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, for
That's such
sure.
a good point. Um, how do you come up with them? Like, I know you have your background in education, but they're so clever. Well, actually, the one I was thinking was so clever. It was one of my favorite. I mean, I literally could just watch them all the
Oh
time.
my gosh, you're so
There's
cute.
so many good videos. I mean, everyone just needs to go. It's learning with Kelsey. That's
Yep,
the
learning with
name.
Kelsey.
Learning with Kelsey. Okay. I love the one where you had the toilet paper roll on the wall. So you just like tape a toilet paper roll to the
Uh-huh.
wall. And then there's a little bowl underneath. And then they put the thing, whatever the thing is, into the
Uh-huh.
toilet paper roll and it drops. And then you just added a few more on the wall so that it created I don't know if it's a maze or what that's called, like a boop, 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 boop.
Yep.
And I mean, that's like so entertaining to a little kid.
Oh yeah. They have the time of their life with that activity. It's like people don't believe me that that will like entertain them for so long, but it really will. And they'll like, I'll leave it out and my kids will keep coming back to it like throughout the day. And even like my 8-year-old will get home from school and be like, wait, you did this again without me? And like he wants to do it.
Because he can put other stuff in there, like
Yeah.
whatever's
Oh, for
like,
sure.
how heavy is the Hot Wheel? Will a Hot Wheel
Yeah.
drop it off, or a
Yeah.
little Polly Pocket type of doll or whatever?
Hmm.
And then the one you had with your little one, there was like one of those shaker cups
The
that like
seasoning things, is that what you're talking about? Where you
no,
put,
the one where he was putting stuff in a bottle, like
oh yes.
it's like a water bottle, but has a wider
Yes.
opening that you
Yes.
use for like to make a shake.
Yes, yes, the shaker bottles. Yep.
And he just has these little pom poms and just like stick it in the hole over and over and over. And
And
I
he
was like,
loves it.
it's
And it's
just
like so there, that's the thing that I feel like I wish more parents knew is that it's so simple to do these things. You just have to kind of like think outside of what you would normally do. So that's why,
or think out inside your box.
yeah,
Like if
yeah, like
you probably if you get a couple boxes, you know, 5 months or whatever, you're like, okay, I kind of get her
yeah,
jive. I get what she's
yeah.
doing here. I mean, I want people to stay forever, but
Hmm.
if it is something that you want to just try it out and then you start
Yeah.
to learn the way you think and go, oh, this is just an Easter-based activity that's
Yes.
similar to this other one that we did at Halloween. Then you
Uh-huh.
kind of go,
Exactly.
oh, okay, I know how to entertain a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like a lot of my boxes, so they like build on each other where you're gonna have you have similar type of things in each box, and that's by design because if you start with a dot sticker activity in October and then you do one in November, then in December they're like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I can do it on my own." And you're creating like a confidence in your child and creating independence in them by doing these repeatable activities that they love, but just in a slightly different way.
Yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant. Um, how do you how do you come up with them? Like,
I know, no, it's in like so it started with like all my preschool. So I did all of these kind of activities when I taught preschool. And then I started with only a preschool box. And then I realized so many people were asking me, like, what do I do for my 2-year-old? And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, 2-year-olds, when you've taught preschool or when you've had little kids, you know that the difference in a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old is huge. They
Yeah, it
can't do the
is.
same type of things. So I created a toddler box, and that's just for 2 to 3-year-olds. And that came based on having my toddlers at home. So I would like try activities with them and be like, okay, no, this doesn't work. This does work. Sometimes I think this is such a great idea. I pull it out, I get it ready, and they hate it. So it's been
So these
much
are
trial and
like
error.
you have your whole lab, like
Yeah.
testing lab
Yes.
going
Like I have
on.
every age. So we test it all here.
Do you have a 14-year-old box yet?
I know someone else. I'm like, I do need a teenager now. I'm
I
nervous
know.
for
I mean,
that.
I just think like it's funny because we are trying to move our young teens out of playing on their phones and moving
Hmm.
them to a little bit more screen-free environment. And it would be amazing if there was, you'd have to have some test subjects, obviously,
Yeah,
to
I need
figure it
older
out.
kids.
But I just think I remember even myself like being in middle school and or late elementary and really love my stickers and my scratch and
Yes.
sniff and spending a lot of time playing that stupid dots game and I because I we didn't have anything to
Yeah.
do. There wasn't
Hmm.
even really cable as much when even I'm older than you because it was like there was only programming for kids at a
Hmm.
certain time of the day and then
Yeah, you
after
had to
that there was
wait. It wasn't
nothing.
just ready for you like it is for our kids.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You'd have to be like, well, now it's 4 o'clock. Now it's the
Yeah.
news. Like there's nothing
Yep.
on. And so it's like we entertained ourselves a lot. And that's a lost art. And I think your
Hmm.
work is really teaching kids kind of how to engage their own brain, their own creativity, their own problem solving.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think like so my craft box goes up to like 8-year-olds where they can do the crafting, but I do think like even with my 9-year-old, like you're saying, like I'm like, hey, do Legos, do this. I want them out
Yep.
doing things, but it really is so hard to come by.
Yeah. My boys spent a lot of time. We didn't really use TV. So they had like they used a lot of tape. That's what I'll tell you. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
they
love.
just
Why is it such a novelty?
But I mean, and they would like tape their different tracks together or tape things down the staircase. I mean, they were just, and I think, oh, this is a good thing to think about too, like allowing space for this play. I noticed in your videos how there kind of seems to be a wall in your home that's sort of dedicated to these wall type of activities.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's something smart to think about is like where is that play space and where can they make messes?
Hmm.
Not obviously don't let your kids put stickers on the walls. Like that's not what we're
Yeah.
saying. But to create enough space for play and create enough space for, movement and all of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if you had any
Well, and I
ideas.
feel like, with little kids, like I have a playroom and I think like go play in the playroom, but somehow their toys always end up like wherever I'm at, and I'm like, why do I
Yes.
have? So our wall that I'm always using is right in my kitchen because that's where they want to be, and they are more likely to do things independently if I'm just nearby.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that you do have a room that's separate, but
Yeah, it
that's
doesn't
not
matter.
necessarily, yeah, where they
But it
want to
is nice
be.
to shut the door and have all the mess in there.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, my boys loved their playroom for sure. We had enough space that that was possible. And it was,
Yeah.
you know, definitely like a very exploratory space, and they could leave a Lego mess out if they were
Yeah.
in the middle of a project. But they would also use all over the house for
Yes.
sure. And sometimes it was like, okay, you guys need to tidy this up, like a
Yeah.
fort or whatever. And then other times I'd be like, let's just allow this creative play space
Yeah.
to exist if we're not having company or if it's not messy,
Mhm.
like sticky or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, it's so amazing. Um, yeah, the I noticed like one of the activities on your Instagram was I didn't really get what was happening, but it was like a the muffin pan, and then
Oh,
there was
yes.
tape across it, and it was like your 1.5 year, 18-month old, kind of
Uh-huh.
like trying to stick stuff into the muffin tin and pull stuff out, maybe
Yes. Yeah,
with
so we call that our bear rescue because I have like the little colorful counting bears. And so I'll put them in there and I'll tape over and he has to try to get them out. And so it's like a fine motor activity, because they're pulling the tape, but then they're also kind of using like their spatial awareness and their problem solving to get it in and out.
There's so many. It's like having a little dog that you need to entertain, and
Yes,
you give them a treat inside of their,
exactly. So they have to get it out.
plastic ball. Yeah, and they have to kind of work at it, and that it's actually really rewarding in a way
Hmm.
that we don't give enough credit to how much the brain likes reward. Like there's all this dopamine dissing going
Hmm.
on the internet, and yes, we have manipulated dopamine in a way that's not healthy, but
Hmm.
actually, simple reward feels really good. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, it landed in the bowl.
Yeah, yeah, it's like so exciting. Exactly.
And that is dopamine too. That's
Yeah.
reward and it feels really good. And I think sometimes parents think that they should do like a sticker chart, like once you do your
Yes.
activity, then I'll give you a sticker and then
Hmm.
you'll like do 5 activities and you'll get a prize. What? No. The reward is in the activity.
Hmm. They're doing it. And the reward is that they're like able to do it by themselves or they're able to show you something that they've completed or,
Oh,
make it
it's
exciting.
so good. Yeah. I do often say like channel your inner preschool teacher. And these are tactile activities, but some of them, it sounds like the brain breaks and stuff are not always tactile, like craft
Hmm.
based, like movement based. Because I think about, like, say I have, 4 and 5 year olds,
Hmm.
and they're in line and it's getting overwhelming, right? And they need to figure out how to move through that energy, how to get some play, get some connection. And what would a preschool teacher do, right? They would like probably have a song. They would
For
probably have
sure.
a little activity that's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, or
Yep.
like all these kind of old school things that preschool teachers do that I think parents, we don't know because we're not preschool teachers,
Yeah.
but if you think about it for a second or two, like you
Hmm.
like go observe your preschool class or you get a couple of these boxes, you're gonna start to go, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I just need to make
Yeah.
a little movement, a little fun, a little
Hmm.
rhythm. I wondered if you had any ideas of like how to help kids in line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I remember. So when I switched from third grade to teach kindergarten, my first day, I was like, get in the line. And they all just like herded around me. And I was like, they don't know what a line is. Like, I was like, this is actually a big mistake.
That's so
But
cute.
it's like so funny. You think like these things that they know, they don't. So I think the best thing parents can do is like kind of just go all the way back to like, what is the simplest thing you're trying to tell them to do? And make it that simple. So like for instance, when my kids are going to get in the car, I say, okay, we're gonna go and I need you to go and put your hand on the car. So like we start with like just put your hand on the car. And then
Okay.
once I'm ready, then I'm gonna open the door. Okay, then you're gonna buckle the top and I'll buckle the bottom for you or whatever. And then another thing that I love that is my very favorite tool as a teacher is whispering. I think we forget that like if you just start whispering to your kids, they like tune in immediately,
Mhm.
because you're making it so they have to. So I'm always like, okay, I'm going to say this so quiet. So you got to listen if you're going to want to hear me. So it's like something so simple like that that gets your kids listening and engaged in what you're saying before you ask them to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so helpful, these little tools that, you learn when you work with kids. I
Hmm.
was a teacher. I taught middle school and
Oh
high
my gosh,
school.
I'm very impressed by you because that is like scary to me.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years hanging out with 13-year-olds. And in my work, the my coaching is primarily for the parent. I don't work with the kids, but I
Uh-huh.
do think and channel, like, what is it like to be four? What do I
Yeah.
know? What do I not know yet?
Hmm.
And we think that kids are being disobedient, but a lot of times they just have a skill gap. They don't even know what we're asking them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's really good to like really break that skill down. That's really a good tip.
But also, like when you're doing a skill, it's something that really helps me as a mom is like setting expectations, like I did that all the time teaching. I'm sure you did it teaching where you say, like, okay, before we do this, here's what I'm going to have you do. So I always do that with my kids. I've kind of retrained myself as a teacher. I'm like, this is what I did as a teacher and it worked. So, like, when we're going to go into the store, I'll say, like, okay,
Hmm.
we're going into Target. We're not getting anything today, but if you see something you want for your birthday, I'm going to take a picture of it. So I'm already setting, I already know where we're going to go. I already can see the obstacles. And
Hmm.
then I'm just kind of setting them up for success because sometimes you don't. And then you're like, why are they being so annoying? Why are they grabbing everything? But it's like, they're in Target and there's toys everywhere. Like, that's fun.
Yeah, that's what we're doing when we're in
Yeah.
Target. We're
Yeah.
also
I'm throwing it in
dreaming
my
and
cart.
also putting stuff in our cart.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, just kind of recognizing that they have desire, they have
Hmm.
they have needs, and just validating those. I was going to say that you have such a positive affect and like very lighthearted. You're quick to giggle, quick to smile. And that's probably a big part of your personality, that it is so nice for kids to have a parent who seems happy about being a
For
parent.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I get that we're not all the time. Like we can have our moods and be grumpy and
Hmm.
whatever. It's all fine. But working on our mindset a little bit of like, I've I've got little kids. Mornings are tough. Let's make it the best we can. And
Hmm.
my goal is to make it fun for myself. My goal is to make them work a little harder.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
I want my family energy to be light and
Hmm.
connected and just kind of creating that like foundational value. Then when we're off track, we can bring that play back in. I just think that playfulness that you naturally have is so contagious for our kids. And
Hmm.
I don't know, like, what do you think about that?
Well, I think yeah, for sure. I think that's so important. And I remember like when I just had two kids and they were 2 and 4 and I was pregnant and I'm like, this is hard, like I'm tired, I'm exhausted all the time. And I remember someone sharing something about how they tried to make motherhood what they wanted it to be too. It's not all about what your kids want. Think about what you love as a mom and what brings you joy. What's your favorite part of motherhood? And at that time, I loved reading books to my kids like that. Also, I couldn't walk around. I wanted to sit. So I'm like, what do I? So I was like, okay, we're gonna do story time every day. We're gonna set out these books. It's gonna be a great fun time of the day that makes me happy and kind of fills my cup of motherhood because I was over stacking up towers. As much as I wanted to be the mom that wanted to race cars all day, like I could not. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I made it something that I liked. And then my kids naturally liked it because I was excited about it. It was fun for me. So that I think is a really helpful tip is what do you love about being a mom? Do more of it.
I agree. Oh, that's such a beautiful ending, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because our kids don't want the Instagram mom. They want the mom they have, and they
Yeah.
want us to be happy, and they want
Hmm.
us to, do the things that we love, and they'll love that.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Exactly.
eventually they'll do their own things, and that's
Hmm.
great too. But yeah, oh, that's such a good idea and like way to frame it for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I love this so much. I tell everyone everything about
Okay.
you, like how to find you.
Yes.
Like we've talked about it, but yeah, get the resources.
So you can get the boxes on my website, learningwithkelsey.com. And then I'm on Instagram, Learning with Kelsey. I'm also on TikTok, Learning with Kelsey. And that's a little trickier for me. I'm not very good. I'm not very Gen Z. So I'm like, I'm trying hard at my TikTok, but
Yeah, it's good. It's like me like I can't even. I'm Gen X. I'm like I could kind of do Instagram.
I know. I know. I get on there like, wow, they're really good at this.
Yeah.
So all those places, you can find me on there. I share free ideas. You can get the box. There's downloads, whatever you want. So
Yeah, tons of free ideas. And then of course the boxes are like already set up for you. And I think it said in the boxes it's like one a day.
yeah, so there's 20 activities each month.
20 activities. Yeah. So
So it's
that's
like one for
really,
each weekday if you're gonna do it like that.
yeah. And then they can be repeated. And
For sure.
yeah, obviously kids don't remember. They're like, we did this yesterday.
Yeah,
And
do
you're
the
like, "We did
pom-pom
this
all day.
6
I love
months
that.
ago."
All month we're doing pom-poms.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yes, thank you. It was so
Yeah.
fun.
Okay, great. Hey, Mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do 2 things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that, again, at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies, just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.